And good afternoon, everyone. It's Matthew Mocorro. I'm here with you to take you through a journey of how to really simplify your trading. This is always a fun time for me when we have opportunities to open up my room to allow more people like yourselves to join us. We have a very limited group that we run with in our different programs out here. So we are in an open enrollment period. So it's always a pleasure to meet those that I have yet to meet. And then for those that already know me, it's always a pleasure, as you well know. So let's just do this before we begin. Let's make sure that we do a simple audio and video check, and then we'll jump into the fun stuff. All right, but let's just make sure all the systems are up and running well. So if you're not familiar with GoToWebinar, it's just like other platforms, except this is for most of you, you downloaded the actual application. So ultimately, we've got two sides. Top half of your control panel is your audio. The bottom half is your question section, which is how you and I will communicate back and forth together today. So let's just make sure that you can hear clearly. You should be able to see a slide that says sound check, and then I've got the webcam. So if all of those are working for you, just say hello. Let me know that all is as it should be. Hey, Claude, good to see you. We've got Placentia, California, perfect. I got all systems go. Michael T says check. Hey, Dwayne, pleasure, says is good. We've got a good morning coming in. Yeah, so interesting enough. Yeah, we'll see if we stay on this time or not, right? We've got the Sunshine Actors, Sunshine Bill was passed. I'm down in Florida, so it's always a pleasure to have more daylight. All right, fantastic. So it looks like all is well, all is good. All right, now this is some of the technical stuff we have to go over. If you didn't know, trading in the financial markets carries risk. You can lose your account. You can lose everything that you have. Hopefully, you're being smart with your equity management. And if you don't have an equity management plan, maybe I can help. Okay, but this is something that we have to put out there to the universe. You've seen this before if you've been to any type of online training or web event like this. So please be smart and never risk more than you can. Okay, so let's jump into the fun stuff. Now, traditionally, I'll go through a slide deck, but I don't want to be traditional today. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about is a systematic and straightforward way to follow me in the financial markets. Now, the program that we're talking about is trading options. How many of you trade options right now? I mean, we're not looking for anything complex. We're looking for very simple, straightforward, calls and puts. Type in an me if you trade options now. Anybody trade the options world, the options market? Yeah, what's interesting is the huge surge in volume in the retail side since the pandemic of 2020. Many of you probably got reinvigorated into the online markets like millions and millions of others during that time. Yeah, so it looks like we got quite a few. What I want to make sure is that if you're not familiar with trading options, or maybe you're new to trading as a whole, this is not a qualification to be here today. Okay, I just want to get a sense for the type of experience so I could tailor the event to you. I've been in the financial market since 2007, working with people just like yourselves. And in that time, I've learned that everyone's different, everyone's unique. We have different comfort levels, different ways we learn. I've got a whole arsenal of different analogies that I've used to teach a concept to trading, right? So, I just want to make sure that I can do best by you all by joining us today. Okay, so that's why I'm asking. So don't worry if you're new. Everyone's got to start somewhere. And if you are experienced, then you're going to be able to quickly understand what we're talking about. Yeah, I got some more comments coming in. Yeah, I appreciate seeing you too. Good afternoon. You must be on the Eastern time as I am. So that's always fantastic. All right, fantastic. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody as they were commenting. So it looks like we are good to go there. Now, I will just spend a moment here. Some of you know me, some of you don't. But I've been in the market, geez, since 2007. And the philosophy that I use is really a compilation of my experience working with many of the top traders in the space. I was the chief revenue officer for one of the largest financial education and training technology companies at the time for 10 years. Had an opportunity to access many phenomenal individuals, coaches, mentors, and ultimately, just like any skill, you start to really compile the things you've learned, and then you walk away with a specific strategy. And that's what you're going to see today. But more so, this is an opportunity today to allow me to do a lot of the legwork for you. Okay. So there's many different types of focuses that people have in their day-to-day lives, right? Some of you love to trade. You have a passion for trading, and you're just like many people. You sit there and stare in front of your charts all day long, and you enjoy that. Okay. I don't do that, but you may enjoy that. Then I've got some of you that are new to trading and just aren't quite sure where to start. You want to be able to make money in the markets, but you just don't know where to begin. So what you're going to see today, and the promise of trading options in 15 minutes or less, is basically me and our team of support here identifying trading opportunities and then delivering them to you. Now, these aren't your typical types of signals where we give you this symbol to trade and say buy an option, buy an option around this price, and then you're left to your own devices trying to figure out when to get out. That's not what this is. Okay, so right around 2018, I decided to really provide something different to the marketplace. When we're building and creating new products in my old role as a chief revenue officer, our goal was revenue. And so we always had to come up with something new, some new product, some new way to trade the markets. It was like week over week over week over week, just creating product. Well, after 10 plus years, that became too much, and I was done with that type of model. But what I learned is that if you can actually provide tangible opportunities for people to succeed, right? Actually give them not only help along the way, but also give them an opportunity to learn exactly what you're doing, then it leaves a better taste in everyone's mouth, right? They're able to see the hope, see opportunities, see some profits. And if you want to learn it, you can actually learn to do what I do. And so effectively, the reason I asked how spun up you are on trading options or not is because the open enrollment period for our program is around trading options. So the 15 minutes or less is very simple. Every day between 7 o'clock at night to 9 o'clock at night, we will deliver any trades that meet our very strict criteria. I'm going to show you what it looks like. We've got 9 different criteria we look for in the market. When those 9 criteria are met, I sit down, review the trade, drop it to the option chain, and then deliver to you the step-by-step instructions of precisely what we're trading, when we're going to be trading it, and then how to get out of the trade, all at one time. So that 15 minutes or less is the time it takes you to look at the signal that we sent to you, look at the actual trade details, and then put them into your trading account, and then you're done. This is not a babysitting strategy. So if you have 15 minutes, you can follow along with me, because that's the typical time it takes you to play trade. I could do it in a minute or two, but that's what the promise is, right? Because you can either be actively trading in the market and crushing it, right? But you want more, okay? Well, if you want more, you've got to learn another strategy to teach, okay? So this is where I want to take you through some of the behind the scenes of what it looks like, and I'm going to teach you some things along the way too, okay? I'm just a natural teacher. I love teaching. So I'm not only just going to talk about our open enrollment, what we have for you, but I also want to show you and give you some tools that you can walk away with. All right, so that's going to be my promise. Now, if you've been in the market this year, you're probably like many people and wondering what has happened, and you're hopefully in a state of mind where you're excited about the recent changes to the market. Now, I know there's a lot going on in the world today, and by no means am I trying to remove empathy from that, because I am a natural empathetic driven person. Many of you that know me can attest to that because I see a lot of familiar faces in the room. But for those that don't, so I know what's happening in Eastern Europe right now. I know exactly what's happening. One of our team members, Anna, she was impacted by it. And so I know exactly what's happening, and my heart goes out to everyone impacted. So now, with that said, we've got to be able to think objectively. Okay, so I'm going to remove some of the subjectiveness, some of the emotions, and now focus on the objective side. Okay, so through the beginning of this year, okay, so let's rewind to the beginning of 2022. So I have on the chart in front of us the S&P 500, okay, and this is obviously one of the biggest indexes. This is now known to be one of the drivers to overall market sentiment in the markets. Now, I review this every single week with my traders, and we stay on top of these trends across these major indexes. Plus, I'm going to give you a bonus today, and I'm going to walk you through a process of not only looking at the overall market, but how to drill in to little sectors, to little niches of the market. You know, things like finance, things like energy, could be things like metals and mining, could be industrial, right? Could be airlines, okay? So I'm going to give you that in a moment, but it always starts with understanding what's happening at the top level, because the track record that we've had just this year is over 771%. That's the net profits. That's winners, that's losers since the start of this year. That's what the Options Profit Generator program has generated, 771%. What that means is for every $1,000 invested following our trades, that's $7,000 in profits. So if you placed $2,000 on those trades with us, that's $14,000. $5,000 per trade, many of you are probably doing, that's $35,000 in less than 3 months. Okay, so the reason I bring that up is because if you look at the market at the start of the year, we started at this high mark, an all-time high mark. You can see on the bottom of my charts, I use TradingView as my analysis tool, and everything you see on the screen, all those indicators that you see, feel free to follow along with me. That is exactly what we use. I teach that method, so feel free to follow along. This is not something that there's anything hidden from you. 100% full transparency. We haven't just taken the indicators, put them into a system. I don't know if you could, you could do that, right? I could take these 4 indicators, come up with a fancy name, put my name on it, and make it locked per se, right? And then next thing you know, you could buy it from me, right? Well, I'm not doing that. That's just not my focus. 100% transparency. This model here is our 4D momentum model. This is what we use every single day. But ultimately, you see, we stopped at the high there. Since then, the S&P went through massive correction. Okay, you could say, oh, it's Eastern conflict. It was started well before the Eastern European conflict, right? So we had a correction over the 10% mark. Actually fell over 14%. We've since rebounded. We've since retraced, and now we're hopefully moving into an uptrend. And we're now just down 6%, 6.5% from the start of the year. Okay. Now that's just the S&P. The NASDAQ has gotten beat up even worse than that. The NASDAQ 100, which is lots of tech and health stocks, right? They also had an all-time high at the start of the year, the first trading day. And then since that point, had a massive correction over 20%. Okay, that's borderline recessionary when you get to the 20% mark. All right, that's a defined thing. But since then, we've bounced back up, 12%. Now we're only down 12%. Okay. So the question is, how are traders able to make profits without short selling, okay, without selling a stock or shorting a stock, without even buying a single put, okay, which is the bearish move on an option trade, okay, buying a put? Well, knowing that not every stock moves in the same direction at the same time, okay? So to give you an idea, what this program does is it allows you to sit back and decide to simply follow along with us and follow along with me and the analysis and the signals that we send to you. You could also learn exactly what we do to find the trades, because I host sessions every single week with you to show you how to read the market, how to determine price action. And so that way you can learn to trade on your own if you don't have an active strategy that works, okay? Or you can do both, right? But the next step here is everyone's goal as a trader. When you think about what we're trying to achieve, right? If you think about the obstacles that are in front of us, there's over 12,000 symbols to trade on TradingView. Equity symbols, okay? So 12,000. How do you find the one? How do you find the two? Maybe three that are ready to move at a fast breakout? That is the active role that we look to fulfill, right? That's what we are trying to do as retail traders, right? We're trying to find those one or two big breakout trades. And we have to weed through thousands and thousands and thousands of stocks to choose from. Ultimately, if we can cut that down to a specific area of the market. So instead of looking at 12,000, we can look at a handful, 10, 12, 13, 14 symbols. And then from that, pick the 1 to 2 to 3 that are set up to break out, right? That is ultimately what I teach. That's ultimately how we generate signals. Now, let me just give you an idea of what they look like because I've got questions coming in. What do you mean by signal? What are some of the details? What does it look like? What you're seeing in front of you is our trade tracker. Now, there's one thing I learned a long time ago when it came to creating and building programs. Okay, I'm talking about, could be educational programs, could be Fibonacci's, how to identify trend lines, candlestick formation trading, support resistance levels. It could be developing systems, right, where people go onto a platform like TradingView, they develop this, this system, they run all this back testing. If you don't know what that means, they're basically looking at data, plugging in a few variables until the back test looks amazing. But then ultimately the forward test or live testing, right, meaning it's actually taking trades live in the market conditions where you can't go back and edit them, or you can't go back and edit the codes, right? That's how these systems are created. One of the things I learned is that if you can actually, from my perspective, from a coach, from a mentor, if I can actually give you the precise trade details, allowing you to not have to worry about how to manage it yourself, because a lot of the issues with success in the retail market is not due to a lack of wanting to be successful, or even some skill. It's the emotional side, it's the mental side of the game that gets in the way. So not only did we provide to you, as I'll show you, specific details of the trade, meaning no stone is left unturned. There's nothing to guess. There's nothing to wonder about whether I get in. How do I get out? What happens if X, Y, and Z take place? You don't have to worry about that. All of that work has been done. In fact, as I give you a glimpse into the signals themselves, okay, what they look like, you're going to see it's everything laid out up front. You don't have to worry about coming back to me and going, hey, Matt, what do I do now? Or emailing in saying, okay, I'm in the profit, what do I do? Or, hey, I'm in the red, what do I do? Okay, it's all laid out to you at the initial signal time. So let me just show you what I'm talking about, and then I'm going to bring this full circle to show you how we find these, because I want to empower you, and I'm actually going to walk you step by step through how we find these opportunities, because I only send out one. That's my goal. I'm going to find the one for you. But on any given day, especially when the market's running strong, there could be a dozen. There could be 15 opportunities. Some days there's no opportunities, okay? But for those that really want to know market flow, then I'm going to teach you that, and I'll show you how in a second. So let's go back. This is actually showing you every trade detail sent out. This program, the Options Profit Generator, has been live since August 5th. Let's go back in time. August 5th, 2020. It's all the way on the bottom. Let me zoom in for you. Now you can download this if you'd like. It depends on how much data you like. but there's 190 signals that have been sent out. This is opened and closed, 190 since August 5th, 2020. The stats is 3,570% net profits since August 5th. Okay, I'm explaining what that number means. A lot of marketers use that a different way. That's why I love to be a trader. Okay, so I'm explaining what 3,500% means in the real world. Okay, so since August 5th, we've been sending out signals. This is what we provide. We tell you the symbol to trade. We tell you, now these are option trades. So we tell you to either buy the long call or you're going to buy the long put. Okay, it's either calls or puts. 90% of these are calls. We give you the options expiration month to select. We tell you the strike price to select. Okay, everything is laid out from the start of the trade. Okay, so we have every single trade detailed, winners and losers. Okay, you can see, we had 106% profit here for ABR, November 3rd to November 11th. Okay, so we had 8 days in that trade, made 106%. You had IBN in 2020, 175%. Okay, so we have every entry, then we have the actual close trade, all tracked. Okay, so you can dig into all the numbers. I have the high level numbers. Some people like to look at all sorts of different things with the data. I'm not trying to entice you or give you confidence from 2020. That's long gone. Okay, so let's look at the recency. So while the S&P 500, while the NASDAQ and all the other 4 indexes, the Diamond and the Russell 2000 have been in a big retracement, big bearish move since the start of the year, we've been rocking and rolling, buying calls, and I'm going to show you the area of the market that we've been doing all of the trading activity. Okay, it's a very specific area of the market. So knowing that we track everything, let me show you what the signals actually look like so you can see exactly how this is flowing. So with this information, we send out in the evening time, okay, between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is when we send these signals out. And the reason for that is because all of these signals are not market orders. Okay, you and I say you and I do not have to be there at the precise moment required to enter the trade, to actually trigger the order. Okay, so I teach a very simple and powerful way to catch breakouts, not chase them. See, I've learned a long time ago that putting someone, could be anyone, in front of the computer at a high stress situation, at a level of high anxiety, and it's very simple to be anxious when your money's on the line, right? There's always some level of anxiety. I have some anxiety when I trade. It may be smaller than yours, right? But no matter what, there's always a level of anxiety, okay? So I would rather be objective, set a trade up, and then make a decision and not be there to hit the actual button, okay? So the reasoning for that 7 to 9 is because it allows you to have plenty of time to set the trade up. So for example, if I told you yesterday to set the trade up for today, all you have to do is set up between 7 o'clock at night before the market opens today at 9:30 in the morning. So you have over 12 hours to set the trade up. It's going to be an automatic entry. Once again, you don't have to babysit it. You don't have to be there to pull the trigger, okay? Full 15-minute freedom to set it up in the most objective way possible and then be done with it, okay? That is what the goal is to be as simple and anxious-free, anxiety-free as possible. So let me show you what it looks like. So let's break down. Let's start at the beginning of, let's just look at March, okay? So we're just 22 days into March. This is live. Let's start with this trade here, KMI, okay? So on March 1st, we sent out a signal for KMI, and this is what it looks like, so you can get a sense for the flow of this. Yeah, we're looking right here. I've got a good comment here. It says, I read that buying options is an 80% losing proposition. Do you ever sell options? That's an interesting comment because there's so much out there about trading options. Buying options is an 80% losing proposition. Selling options could be a 1,000% losing proposition. All right. The reason why is because selling options, right, versus buying a call or buying a put, being on the sell side, short side, depending upon how you do it, right, could be disastrous. Okay. Naked puts, okay, naked calls, things like that to an inexperienced trader can be disastrous. That's where it's not a margin call saying I just got stopped out. It's, yeah, you owe us a check, and you have your broker send you an address to mail that check to. Okay, so I've had plenty of opportunities to be successful in the markets on the buy side. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not it doesn't get me excited. It's not in my interest wheelhouse, as we would say. All right. But let me go through this for you so you understand, and I'm going to show you how we get to these points. Okay, because to me it's all about, okay, so why after 190 trades? You think about 190 trades since August 5th, so that's this past August was a full year, so we're pushing 18, 19 months. Okay, 190 trades, that's about trade a day, trade every other day. All right. Well, ultimately we look for 9 criteria, so we're very specific, and it requires patience on my part as the signal generator to realize that, understand that, and wait for the right moment. Okay, so let's go back to this March 1st trade here. This is the details we're talking about. So this is February 28th. Remember, we're looking at this for the next day. So we send it out the day before. So on February 28th, KMI showed up on my list, showed up on my board. Okay, and I'll show you what it looks like to show up on the board. So based on the stock setup, we said, okay, this is the option trade to deploy. So I told our traders, we're going to be buying a call, long call, Kinder Morgan. You're going to select the April 14th expiration. Stock trigger is $17.47. That is when you're going to get into the trade. So what that means to my traders is if Kinder Morgan marks on March 1st, the next trading day, if the price marks at or greater than $17.47, we're going to trigger the trade. Trade's going to go live. We're going to enter the position. But then we always have a stop loss. Many of you are probably going, oh, stop loss, that's crazy. We need a stop loss. I'll show you why in a second. Okay, you've got to have a stop loss. Most retail traders don't, and that's why most retail traders lose. And that's a fact. 12 months is the average life cycle for a retail trader. That's how long they typically last. 12 months before they give up. 12 months. So if you're one of those few percentage points out there that are still trading beyond a year, congratulations. Because that is a rare thing in the financial markets. So then you got to know when to take profit, because trading options, if you're new to it, has an expiration. What's the expiration? Well, it's April 14th in this example. Okay. So we have a time limitation. We can't hold it forever. It's not like buying a stock and weathering a storm on retracement, right? We have very specific time limitations. So if I told you this trade detail on February 28th, how many of you could put that trade into your account? Type in a yes if you could do that. How many of you know exactly how to set this trade up? Type in a yes if you can. I got great questions. Do you consider volatility when buying calls or puts? Yep, 100%. I'll show you some of that in a second. So it looks like we have several. Okay, so it looks like now if you can and you're not commenting, then you're gonna have to deal with me explaining how to set it up. Because what I'm trying to do is get a gauge of how deep I need to go into setting up an options trade. That's really my intent. But it looks like, yeah, we do have quite a few that know how. But the trick here, though, and I know a lot of you already know, so Claude's he's got a head start. He's already been trading with me for a long time. All right, so some of you already know, See, the difference here is, can you set it up in one ticket? Can you set it up in one single order? Can you set it up to automatically get in and get out? That's the real trick, okay? So we not only send them out via email, we also send them out via text message. So you get a text message, and then you also get an email, and then you also have, of course, this tracker. This is a live tracker. So this tracker is up to date. This is what our traders use to follow along with the trade. Because the question is, well, how do you know what the entry is? How do you know when you got out of the trade? Okay. So if we go back to Kinder Morgan here, and let's go back to March 1st. Okay. So we're going back here. I'm gonna use the back in time machine, and we're back here to March 1st. If you didn't know, TradingView can go back in time. So let's talk about these opportunities here. So this is Kinder Morgan. All right, I went back in time. So remember the trade details here, right? There's the trade. You should be asking, well, why? Right? Why Kinder Morgan? Well, the big power is in just 3 days, we made 95% on the option trade. So that means if you had $1,000 into that trade, that's $950 in just a few days, 3 days. You had $2,000, that's about $1,900 in just 3 days. If I told you the options profit generator program for the whole year is $399, there's nothing to hold back here. I don't have any wizardry at the end of this where I'm going to build up all this, extrinsic value and then go, okay, it's now $5,000. I think the value is way more than that, but it's just $399 for the year for me to send you signals like this. So would you have paid $399 for an entire year of signals just to get this one that could pay you almost double your money? Yeah, I think so, right? So there's no mystery to how much it's $399 for the whole year. That's it. To get access to this options profit generator program. So just want to put that out there. There's no mystery. I don't want any cliffhangers, anything like that. Several things here to understand. These indicators here, they're very simple. They're moving averages. They're not exponential. There's nothing, it's not implied volatility. It is simply using simple moving averages, and we use a specific breakup of a 10, 20, 50, as you can see here on the left, and then I use volume. Okay, so volume is actually one of the biggest drivers to find breakouts than anything else you've ever seen before. Some comments people give me when they first show up to class is, I have never seen moving averages used the way you use them. This is the most simple thing I've ever seen. That is how we put it all together. Okay, so I can teach you this if you want. I'll explain that. I also teach exactly how to follow along. But this is all based upon searching through the market, finding breakout patterns. Okay, so that's what we use this stack. I use this stack for everything. Could be indexes, could be individual stocks. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could be different markets like Forex, futures, cryptos. I use the same model over and over and over again. So going back to the beginning of this month, this is the trade that we have set up for today. Okay, that's why this date is here. But let's come over here. This is March 1st. So the entry, right? Remember, we tell you everything. This is at the end of the day. Everything is done on a daily time frame. There's no need for you to be in front of your computer smashing the keyboard button. I don't trade that way. I look at the market about an hour a day. So once the day is closed, what happens is we've got a pre-built filter setup that we use to go in and find opportunities in the market. So remember, there's 12,000 different stocks to choose from, right? There's tons of signals, tons of symbols to trade, and we want to cut through them all. So inside of this, we use a very precise setup using TradingView, and TradingView you can use for free. You don't have to pay for TradingView. You don't have to have a paid account. You can use their free version, and you can actually follow along with what we do. And so when you look at, this is our checklist. This is one of our checklists that we use, and we give you all of the instructions. you see, all the settings to find trades that I deliver and I send out are all done here. I use the same method. There's nothing behind the scenes that I look for. I actually teach what I look for. So that way, when there's multiple opportunities, you can be your own driver and piggyback on what I send out. And then you can also start to create your own opportunities, right? Because I'm going to send out one, sometimes two, but most of the time it's one if the market sets up. So we actually give you, this is one of our checklists. I actually give this to you. I actually teach this twice a week in the Market Pro live session, where we go through the markets to understand what to expect. What are the areas of the market to trade? A huge part of this is using this filter setup. Then we give you the actual setup of how to actually set up your trades. From the options perspective, I also teach you how to set up an options trade. And I'll tell you this secret. The less you know, the more you know about options. Options are some of the most overcomplicated instruments to invest in the marketplace. I like to keep it simple, right? But just rest at ease here. And the reason I show that is because some of you are going to be taking crazy amounts of notes trying to emulate this. Look, for $399, I teach this. So you don't have to worry about, learning this right now in this moment. I want you to just think the concept of breakout. So what we are looking for is very simple. I'm looking for a volume surge, okay, trading activity greater than normal. Then I'm looking at a pattern of a breakout pattern, and that's typically displayed in a break of a trend line. Okay, so if the trend's going down, then I get a trend up. That typically is a turning point, right? That's a breakout opportunity. Along the journey, if there's an active trend, okay, so there's either getting in at the start, getting the second move, or getting in 3, 4, 5 moves down the road, okay? Because some trends last a long time. And so rather than us wait for the next reversal point and then reversal after that, right? We can also take advantage of existing long-term breakout moves, okay? So I've got questions coming. If anyone's interested, you can do optionsprofitgeneratornow.com if you just want to go sign up. It's very simple. Many of you have been trading for a long time. You understand exactly what this is, right? It's me sending you signals. Showed you the track record. I'm going to show you more in a second. I know I already have questions coming in. Oh, I love it. I got a comment. Appreciate that. I bought a lot of other gurus. Matthew is the best. Hey, Peter, when you're ready to come back, let me know. We'll take care of you. Yeah, we'll take care of you, Peter. I love it. Best money I ever spent. I appreciate that. Peter says, I finally learned through your tutorials. Yep, the OCO order. Since January 1st, Claude, 28,000. I love it. Man, great question here. So Richard says, do you miss dark pool volume by scanning before 0200? What I'll tell you is, I mean, I could, right? But I don't leverage that, okay? And I'm going to show you here as we walk through this process that much of what we need to see is given to us every single day. That may sound crazy, but it's really not. If you think about the terms of how the market moves, right? I'm going to go to KMI, but let's go to something like, Ford. Most of you probably know who Ford is, right? Everybody know what Ford is? Right, let's go back to this breakout here. Let me just show you what momentum looks like at a breakout point. So this is Ford, okay? So this was the start of the year, okay? So looking at the track record here, just put your head around this. What moves the market? What makes price go up? What makes price go down? It's not sentiments. It's not feelings. Okay, it's an actual tangible thing that takes place. It's a tangible activity. It's something that is tracked. It is the number of shares traded. It's activity. It's trading activity. It's people buying. It's people selling. It's not hopes. It's not fears. It's not dreams. It's not ambitions. It's not nightmares. It's the activity of buying or selling. So very simple, right? If there's more buyers than sellers, then what happens to price? Price goes up. If there's more people selling, taking profits, right, is another form of selling, price goes down. But what if there's a whole lot more buyers? What happens to that price? Does it move fast or does it move slow? Right? Typically it moves fast. That is the quintessential piece of how the markets work, period. Nobody in this room can argue about how the fundamentals of the price action works. It's activity. How do you know that's true, Matthew, you may ask? What happens on Saturday to price? Does price go up or down on Saturdays? No. Why? Market's closed. What does that mean it's closed? There's no activity. Forex market, why does it stop trading on Saturday? Markets are closed. Okay, what's the only market that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Right, cryptos. Okay. Without activity, there is no movement. But what I'm here to say and what we do is we look for momentum at greater levels than normal. That's step one. Step two is that volume found at a key price level, a breakout level? Four's easy. Okay, this is the beginning of the year. This trade was a one-day trade from the 4th we got in, 5th we got out. Automatically, remember, 127%, day one, first trade of the year. So you had $2,000, that's over $2,400. One day, okay? That's what that number means. Just multiply this by your average investment. Type in your average investment into the question section. What's your average investment size per trade? It's kind of a trick question because what I find is most people don't have one. Most people are just erratic. And I'll teach you why that's not a good strategy. But most people don't, okay? But we'll get into that later. All right, so let's go back in time, and we're at the back in time machine. So this is January 3rd. You know, we sent this out in the evening time. So once the market closed, the first day of the month, we then look at the market, and we're scanning through opportunities to buy, okay? So Ford showed up in our list. Reason why is simple. You see on the bottom here, I've got this volume moving average indicator. I'll show you how to set this up. Don't worry about the setup process. But just think about this. The fuchsia line is an average. It's the 20-day trading volume. It's the average of that volume over the last 20 days. These columns are measuring the activity, the number of shares traded in that time. So you can see on the 31st, New Year's Eve, we had 51 million shares traded on Ford. You see how below we are, right? We're lower than the fuchsia line. The pink line or fuchsia line up here in the top data box is the actual average. So the 20-day rolling average was 81 million. So we're 30 million shares below the average. Okay, that's called a low volume day. But then we start the year off, first trading day, January 3rd, with a surge. This is classified as a surge. 110 million shares, almost 111, over 81. That is what we look for. That's one piece. Okay, that's one piece we look at. That's what a surge. If you go back, you see we have low volume periods. Anytime we're below the line, that's low volume. Then you see we're at the line, that's an at volume day. Then you have above average days, right? Ford's fun because it's always got activity. There's always lots of volume around. Now, next thing is pattern, okay? So once we have activity levels where we want it, that provides the big push. That's the big pop. That's where momentum is found, right? The next thing we've got to see is, are we at a key price level? So at this point, we're at recent highs, 10-year plus highs for Ford, probably 15 years. Very, very long high. Well, this is the strategy I teach as well, is how to catch 52-week high breakouts. Okay, there's many breakouts patterns that are there. Okay, so this is a 52-week high pattern breakout. So we had a strong surge price, strong volume push, big bull bar. Okay, so this is the end of the day. So once we've identified that, our goal is to catch. So remember, I'm being very specific in the terminology. We're here to catch breakouts, not chase breakouts. So the catch philosophy is that we identify a specific price where a breakout is likely to occur. And it's a very simple formula. So here's the bar high at the start of the year. So in the top left box, you can see the data here, okay? So you can see we had a high mark of 21.88. So what is a breakout? What does a breakout look like in the terms of price? Does the price have to go higher or lower? If I'm thinking a bullish breakout, the price has to go up. So what we do is we identify the pattern on a daily scale like this. Then at that moment, then we send out the trade details to say, here's our stock trigger. All we do is we set one tick above that bar high. That's the signal. That's the trigger price. So remember, as we talked about this, I was using the term stock price trigger. So if we go to Ford, and I'll pull it up for us. So you can see what the actual email was. You're going to see the exact details, okay? So this was the email sent out on the 3rd. Remember, we sent this on the 3rd. This trade's good for the next day. It's always the next day. This program, the Options Profit Generator, is for the following day. So once today closes, for example, let's come back to today. It's March 22nd. Whatever happens in the market today, I'm going to run our filter and look across the 12,000 stocks to see what stocks show up in what type of category. Then sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 30, depends on the day, depends on the activity levels. Then I will personally go through and I look for very specific criteria. If any of those criteria are met on the stock, I then drill down into the options available and I go through the options to find the best option trade. Then I send it out to you, okay? So going back to the start of the year, same process here. So once we identify the Ford setup, this is the entry. We need 21.89. We need Ford on the 4th of January to hit $21.89 or greater. It can mark higher, just has to be higher than 21.89. If that happens, we want to automatically trigger the trade. We want to automatically get in. Now, we also gave out a profit target of $24.93. Generating the profit target, many of you are like, well, how'd you know that was the target? Well, that was used, and that was created using what I call the price forecaster. It's a tool I teach, it's a strategy I teach of how to forecast future price levels. But that's where $24.93 came from, okay? So this is what I saw at the beginning of the year. So I said, okay, here's our first trade of the year. Went to the computer, set up the order, took a screenshot of the order, and then I send it out to everybody. Okay, that's what I do every time there's a trade setup. Now you may be going, what do you mean the trade order? Okay, so remember, I've got to tell the broker, you can use any broker of your choice. I use Thinkorswim with TD Ameritrade. That's what I use. I've used it for years, okay? But you can use whoever you want. So I've got to tell them very specifically exactly how to set the trade up. So when I say we're going to buy Ford, the long call, February 18th expiration, $21 strike, right? This is exactly what we sent out. I've got to tell them that I want to buy it tomorrow, only tomorrow, if Ford marks at or above 21.89. So I'm sending this up at night for the next day. It's a very specific order. We use an OCO order type. One cancels the other with contingent instructions, contingencies. I'll show you what it looks. It sounds complex. It's really simple. It says, I'm telling my broker, only buy Ford if it does this. If it does that, buy my long call. Execute the trade. That's all I'm telling it. Only if this, then you buy. Then you execute the trade. That's all I'm telling my broker to do. The OCO aspect of it, one cancels the other, is then saying, if Ford does what I want it to do, execute trade. Once executed, I want you to put a stop loss and I want you to put a profit target on it. 2 exits. So it's a beautiful setup that allows you freedom and it takes 15 minutes or less to set up. So watch that. So, okay, everything's on here. Stock price trigger is right here in the middle. Stop loss, profit target, all laid out at the point of signal. So once you set this up, you literally do not have to touch the trade ever again. How cool is that? You don't have to go back and babysit it. You don't have to go back and update anything. You literally set it up one time, never touch it again. Yeah, I got a question. Do you also short with put options? Long puts, buy puts, not short put. I don't short puts. If the conditions are there. It's all about the condition of the market. It's all about the condition. Everybody get the gist, okay? So in the signals, I actually also take screenshots of the actual ticket. So if that's not enough to do it yourself, you see this column says trade tickets. You click on it, and you can actually see the precise ticket that was used to set this trade up. So I track everything in our practice account. I never show my live account, folks. It's just not. I don't market my personal. Okay, I market our track record here. Okay, what I do, and I've been doing this for a long time, is my business. What you do with your account is your business. Okay, this is our tracking account that I have all of these 190 plus trades in. Okay, there's also a lot more because there are other programs. But you can see here on the details, pay close attention to the setup. Order number one, we're going to buy. In this instance, we did 30 because of the cost per share. So buy 30 contracts forward, selecting the 18th February expiration, $21 strike. You see it says to open right here in the middle, to open. But it says there's a condition. So think of this as an only, an if statement. So buy this contract only if Ford marks at or above 21.89. So that's the contingency. That's the condition to execute the trade. So then order number three is the two exits. So one cancels the other. So we have a stop loss and then we have a profit target. So if the profit target's hit, the stop loss gets canceled out automatically. If we get stopped out, which happens, then the profit target gets canceled out. So there's not an active trade. It's not an open trade. Okay. So if we go live, if Ford marked at or above 21.89, if you see here, this trade is only good for the day. It's only good for the day. Okay. The next day. So the third, it's only good for the fourth. If it does not happen on the fourth, if we don't hit the entry, no trade. It's going to cancel. That's why I say you touch it once. So you can see the stop loss. We're going to sell. So we have two sells. One buy to get in. If we go live, you have two sells, two exits. So we're going to sell. This is the stop loss. If Ford marks at or below 1904, okay, we're going to get out. If Ford marks at or above 24.93, close this out. That's our profit target, right? So if the price is 21.89 on the stock price, then obviously the higher price means we're in the profit, right? We're buying a call. We want it to go up. We want that price to go up, okay? That's how precise it is. You never have to touch it again. So let me show you what happens. So then, obviously next day, you've already seen it because it's the past. That's where we started. So this was the day we set up the trade. We opened up at 22.52. So next day we opened up 70 cents higher than our signal. But because of the way we set up the entry greater or equal to 21.89, this trade triggered. Boom, right in the morning, okay? Right when that market opened, our forward trade automatically entered us in. Well, we know the price because we track it. So the share price was $1.85. That was the share price of that option. So that's 185 bucks a contract, right? 100 shares is one contract, right? In the options world. So that's 185 bucks. Well, remember we had an exit. Our profit target was 24.93. 24.93, right? Well, next day came, so we entered on the 4th. That was our execution day. Everything's set up. Then we have the next day comes along, bang. What's the price? What's the high price? 24.95. If you're new, you may go, oh, that's pretty cool, he got it. If you're experienced, holy cow, how did you call it within two pennies? Because that order was sitting there, I didn't have to, number one, be there. I didn't have to be there on the 4th. I didn't have to be there on the 5th. I don't have to be there ever again. If you place one trade in your life and never log back into your account and you set up this forward trade, that trade would be that profit would be in your account. I said, you set up one time, you never mess with it. So on the 5th, we hit 24.93. We marked at 24.95 was the high mark, right? So not only did we track the entry, we also tracked the closing ticket. So that way you can actually see what the ticket was. Let me download this so you can see it. I can zoom in better if I download it. So when you zoom in here, you can see the actual ticket. So here's the order, remember? There's the trigger, 140567168. For those that just may not quite believe that it is actually the same tied number, you can correlate the ticket to the actual trade ticket. Okay, so all that ticket information is tracked here, and that's what I love about this because it's fully transparent. Like I said, the whole goal of this, right? It's all here for you. You've never seen anything like this, I promise you. You may think you have, but not this transparent. All right, so you can see this trade was hit 11:20 in the morning. 1-5, right? At 11:20, closed out, sold those 30 shares that we bought on the 4th at a price of $4.20. So if I bought at $1.85, closed out automatically at $4.20, hands off, hands free, $4.20. That is where you get the profit from. Okay, so that's where we see the entry, $1.85. You see the exit at 420. Well, that comes out to 127%. It's all about the pattern. It's all about the momentum. Okay, so you can see all this year. This is the beginning of the year, January 4th. Remember, you can go back and see all the data if you want. Go through it to your heart's content. They're all calls. They're all calls, buying calls. And I showed you the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, all selling off, right? Sure, they're coming back. We'll see how it plays out over the next couple of days. But ultimately, many traders have not been doing well. And it's just, and it's difficult to trade retracements when the market's been so strong. It's not easy, okay? But these are all calls. What's interesting about how we've been able to do this, and to give you an idea, this year, we've got 771%. This year, when I show a big number like 35, 70, so this is all time here, 3,570. That's a factor. Okay, now that's winners and losers. Okay, so we've captured all time 7,168% net profits. That's winners, that's losers. We've lost 3,597%. You net that out, right? You take the winners at 7,000, the losers at 35, means we have 3,500 net profits. So if you look at 35%, 3,500%. Okay, we'll just use easy math. That's a factor, okay? Easy way to use that number is you take your average investment size. Some of you put in $1,000 for average investment, okay? So if I trade $1,000 per trade, well, $1,000 per trade is $35,000 in profits, net profits. Okay, that is what the factor is used for. So if you took every one of those 190 trades, okay, since inception, your profit would show 35,000. Now, if you trade something else on your own, that's up to you. But if you traded all 190 in an independent account, you would have $3,570 if you kept your investment the same. Okay, it's hard to do it exactly to 1,000. Some of it may be 998, some of it may be $1,050, right? But that is what the factor's for. Okay, so a lot of people like to use that number, I think, incorrectly. And I think we all learned what data can do when used incorrectly. Okay, so you have 2,000, that's $70,000. If you had $5,000 per trade, your profit is in hashtags. Now your profit's in bigger numbers. Oh, that's all my images. 175,000 since inception. Okay, this year, because everyone always wants to know the stats. Okay, this year, 771%. So if you had $1,000, that means you made $7,000. And we still got a couple days in this month, right? That's how the factor works. This is all this year. The last time we had an open enrollment like right now was 2 months ago in January. All of the people that spent $399 2 months ago and followed my signals are well into the profit, right? Just $1,000 would be $7,000 of profits. They paid $399 for the year. So the entire 2022 trading year is paid for. They're already into the profits. The how of this method, there's about 5 or 6 breakout patterns that we follow, that I teach, okay? So I love the program because it's really 2 focuses in one, okay? It's really an opportunity for you to piggyback, to get some trades. Some of you have different schedules. Some of you don't have the time you want to devote to this. I get it. Some of you want to trade, but you don't have the time, so you're going, hey, maybe Matt can send me those signals. I can't. I love doing it. Many of you are going, why is it only $399? Why not $999? Why not $2,000? Why not $3,000? Believe me, I tell the marketing team all the time, this seems a little low. Seems a little low. But they tell me, they say, Matthew, you know what? We have an ability to leverage big emails. We can touch a lot of people. It's fine. And I said, okay, you are right. It is fine. The more people, the better. So it's extremely affordable. It's $399 a year. I'll go through it in a second for you. But you can do with it as you wish. You can just simply take all the signals that you want. Just take them. If you have 15 minutes a day, how many of you have 15 minutes a day and have the ability and the desire to trade the markets? 15 minutes. I think everybody does, okay? You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take the track record. It's a track record. It's a real track record. This is not back-tested results. These are signals that I have sent out to the world, to the paid user world, but you get my point. All tracked. I've got clients in here now talking about it, right? Yeah, everything's here on the screen. You should be able to see this. Everybody seeing the spreadsheet? Good question, Alan. Do options ever expire worthless? No, not here. Yeah, you can. Your children can access your signals. That's fine. Yep, not a problem with your children. I've got 2 small kids. Whenever they ask for, I give it to them. I am the ultimate sucker when it comes to my kids. Yeah, great questions in there. So Alan's got a question. Do options ever expire worthless? The answer is no, because if we get close, we cut out 7 days. We have a limit of 7 days to expiration. It's only happened a handful of times. I mean, 190 trades, it's happened probably 4 times where we didn't get stopped out or hit the profit target. So that's it. It's all the same price, Claude. You're locked into $399 for the year. Yep, you have to $399. Yeah, you're locked in at that price, Claude. Let me show you the breakdown here. Just one final focus here. All right. So what I did is I put all the trades this year, all the symbols. These are all the trades just this year. Okay, I didn't go back and put 190 on. So here's the forward trade, right? The exit plan is what I love, but you can see everything's laid out here. Look at the mix of where we were. So the symbol distribution, 24% of our trades this year has been in non-energy minerals. Another 24% of our trades, so half of our trades are in industrial services or energy, non-energy minerals, okay? So almost half of them. Then we have another 10% in energy minerals, 10% finance, 10% transportation. Understanding the conditions of the market, having a simple ability to not only understand that the S&P, the NASDAQ was in a huge bearish sell, we use different ways, different tools to find the bullish moves in the market. Where do you think the bullish moves were? Energy. Well, how would you know that? Well, part of the program here is in my twice a week live sessions, we run this big board here. It's our sector list. So we use sector related ETFs, exchange traded funds. If you want the list, I'll send it to you. I'll drop this link in. So if you have TradingView, you can save this as your own if you like. Just click that link and you can save this watch list. If you don't have an account, it's free. You can get a free account. I'm not affiliated with them, but you can get a free account. So we use this board. I've got them classified in uptrends, sideways, downtrend. Okay. There's all sorts of major sectors here represented. So XLE, here's the beginning of the year. This is energy. Okay. XLE is an energy ETF. So I teach you all sorts of fun stuff, right? So whatever you want to walk away with, I teach it. Up 32% on the year. That's where we've been. We've been trading in energy. So while the S&P, the NASDAQ was selling off, because of our mechanics and our mechanisms and our ability to track the markets in different ways and what many of you may have been aware of, we're able to capture buying opportunities, massive buying opportunities that are generating massive profits every single week with us because of our ability to stay on top of the market in a simplistic fashion, okay? So it's been difficult for many retail traders, I get it. But if you have a way to focus your attention into the right areas, you can be wildly successful, I believe. If you don't have the time to learn to do it, then just follow my signals. For the average cost of one contract, you can contract me to send you signals for the entire year. Optionsprofitgeneratornow.com is the site. So I'll explain how I teach. You might be thinking, well, how do I teach this? Well, because I'm going to give you a free ticket if you sign up to join me in my Market Pro Live Club. So you have Options Profit Generator. It's its own entity, its own animal. It's just a pure signal service program. It's not an AI. You know, I love how the marketers in our space love to come up with these fancy terms. Me, not a robot, I generate these signals, okay? I send them to you. Now, I run an entirely different room called the Market Pro Live Club. Typically, that's a paid membership, but I love open enrollment and I want to help you. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you free access to that program on top of it. Because for me, I feel that you get more bang for your buck, more longevity in the market if you understand exactly what's happening. My goal is to lower your anxiety. If I told you, if you were with us the entire year so far, you would know precisely what was happening on this major move down that we saw. You would have had all the knowledge to have confidence to know when are we going to find the bottom and start moving back up again, because we are on it every week. So that way we can focus more on the fun stuff of making money and learning the market, lowering expectations of anxiety, lowering anxiety levels, right? And enjoying the process. That's the fun of it, right? Indecision, lack of expectation, The fear of the unknown, that's a worrisome place to be, okay? That's extremely worrisome, and I believe in expectations. So if I could give you the next 2-3 days of the market, literally saying, okay, over the next couple days, here, this, and this are the 3 likely things that are going to happen. If this happens, we're going to do this. If that happens, we're going to do this. So there's always a plan. We always have an expectation of what's coming next. So as the market was selling off, we were jumping over into some of the strongest sectors holding up the market. Energy, a lot of people are just now getting on the bandwagon because of the Eastern European conflict. They're like, oh, Russia-Ukraine conflict is why oil prices are high. No, that's incorrect, right? Oil prices have been on the rise since the beginning of the year, towards the end of last year. So we were already there. Much of the mainstream is now trying to catch up with us in the options profit generator. You can see it based on where we've been trading and what we've been trading and how well we've been trading it. Over 60% profit, right? That is what targeted trading can do for you. And the beauty is you don't have to learn if you don't want to. Okay, you can just follow along with me and I'll teach you how to do it. And if you don't want to learn, if you don't have time to show up, that's fine. Just take the trades. I don't know anything else out there that can give you this type of follow through and help at the pay level it's at. Okay, the investment price. It's less than average contract. You know, the question is, do you have, if you don't have the $3.99 to invest, then I don't know what you're investing in, right? Because that's a nominal investment per contract, you know. And if you think about return on investment for a moment, right? At $399 for this program for the entire year, if you buy a contract and you, let's make the choice, options profit generator, my program for an entire year, or you just buying it, just getting into the market in a trade, what can happen with that trade? Well, you could win, you could lose. Okay. Are you going to make, what's your average profit? Are you making 30%? So can you turn $3.99 into $100? Sure. What if you doubled it? What if you turned $3.99 and doubled it and you made $3.99? Okay. Or you invested that, like many of you did that are here today. I love seeing you in these. You spent $3.99. That $3.99 has turned into over 771 net % profits, right? 771. So my people that typed in 1,000, you made 7,000. So is $3.99 worth that $7,000 opportunity? And that's only through the first couple months of the year. We still have another 10 months of trading, another 10. That is the proposition. You know, it's a matter of, can you follow along? If I told you what to do as I've shown you, can you follow along with it, right? That's going to be the only thing. I think the only limiter to people really taking advantage of this is if you're not trading, right? And I have some comments that need UK brokers, so I'm going to keep working to see if we can find one for you. But this is the program. It's very simple, okay? The options profit generator is exactly what I've described to you. Fully transparent, 100% trading signals. It's not done by a robot. It's done by me, okay? So if all the criteria is met, I send it out to you. If it's not, I tell you why there's no signal. Not every day there's a trade. If you saw December on the track record, right? There's only two trades in December. Why? December is synonymous with low volume. Volume is such a big component to momentum, breakouts. So whenever there's a period of low volume, there's a period of low signals. Now those 2 trades made 200%, but hey, who's counting? All right, but there's only 2. February, there was only a handful of trades too, 4 or 5. March has been, geez, 11 or 12 trades just this month. All right, so it's all going to be different, but every day we're reviewing the market for you. So if you look at the details, look what's out in the marketplace, look at the results of what we're giving, you can easily put a price tag of $6,000 or more on this. But like I've already been saying, it's literally $399 for the entire year, the whole year. At the end of the year, I already had a question about that. If you're set up for auto bill, you're just going to renew again at the same price. Now, if you don't go on auto-bill, or if you cancel, maybe life gets in the way, right? You've got to put a pause. If you put a pause, let us know. We'll pause it. If you cancel and come back, I can't guarantee the price. Okay, but $3.99, as long as you're active with us, you'll have it for as long as you want. As long as you want, $3.99 per year. Now, I also learned throughout my experience that some of you have different understandings of how to set up a trade. Some of you have different understandings of what an option trade is. Well, you're also going to receive my empowerment toolbox. Okay. I love that analogy. Give man a fish, right? Give a man a fish, ... Marketers love that in this space for some reason. Well, if you think about all of the little things that come into it, right? Like, what does this term mean? What does the market look like? What does an OCO order look like, right? There's always going to be some of these small pieces that need to be answered. And so I'm also going to give you some of my most special toolbox resources, so you know exactly how to follow along, right? It's one thing to know what is being sent, but I also want to give you my empowerment toolbox. And you're going to love it because it actually has over 10.5 hours of training, actual training of my strategy. So it's really a full, complete program of signals, educational resources, and live support, which I'll show you in a second. Okay, that's all encompassing here. You can follow along, take my signals, follow along with the rest of us if you want. You can learn, show up to my classes that are twice a week live and learn, or you can do both, right? It's totally up to you. Some of you are going to do it at different stages, right? But that's how unique this is. You can do both sides. I teach it, or you can follow along, or you can do both. Now, for those unfamiliar with options, I'm going to give you a couple bonuses here that are very important. Quick start options trading. Got over about 1.5 hours of lessons on how to demystify option trading. Okay. You're also going to receive a breakdown of how to read the option chains. This is a special bonus, no additional charge. I'm going to include this training so you know exactly how to follow along with us. The most powerful to me is setting up the contingent trigger order type. So we'll teach you how to do that. You'll also have checklists. Okay, so very simple thought. The less you know, the more you know. The next thing is we're going to show you how to use autopilot. Every broker, every major broker has this ability. It just may look different than the way mine looks because I have Thinkorswim. If you're really going hard, I would just get Thinkorswim. I'm not an affiliate of theirs, but if you want very simple, do exactly as I do, exactly as we do in the room, what's another trading account to you, right? But if you have a broker that you're happy with, stay with them. You can do what we do on your broker. So this is where the autopilot is, set up at night, don't babysit it again, right? The forward trade, if you set it up at night, I showed you, you never have to mess with it again. You log in one day and go, oh man, we hit a profit target because it's all set up. You're also going to receive all the checklists. Okay, so I want you to know the why behind it. So all you have to simply do is take the signal, you go to any charting tool of your choice. We use TradingView a lot, but you can use whatever you want. And you'll be able to find exactly why we took the trade because you'll be able to see it leveraging the checklist. So it's really a neat program. So you're going to have all the checklists to follow along with us, all laid out for you. Money management, I already talked about today, right? The money management side, average investment. Okay, this is a very powerful tool, mastering money management. All right, when to scale up. If we just talked about a $1,000 investment over the life of the program, that's $35,000 in profit. Well, what if you doubled your average investment with your profits? You could turn an initial start point of $1,000 into $2,000, into $3,000, to $4,000 per trade. All right, so I teach that concept in the Master Money Management lesson. Now, I've talked about it. Let me actually explain it. Twice a week live, I host the Market Pro Live Club. This is a standalone program focused on live market commentary, strategy development, not me, developing you on various strategies of the market. How to isolate and find the sectors of the market. The lessons and the thoughts and the trading opportunities vary from day to day, depending upon what the room and what the attendees are looking for, the types of questions that come up. We'll break down different symbols. I'll run through the top indexes. I do it all the time. Always start off breaking down the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Russell, and the Diamond to get an expectation. It's always about expectations. So twice a week, Mondays at 7, Thursdays at noon. Reason is simple. We want to see what happens Tuesday, want to see what happens Wednesday, half day Thursday. Session. Let's review those 2.5 days. Well, what do you think happens between Monday night? We have another 2.5 days. So we're literally breaking down the market in half, breaking down the week in half. So we're always on top of the market. Always have an expectation. Always knowing if we're going to go to a drawdown, if we're going to go to retracement periods. Okay? When the breakouts are happening across the board, that's what we're monitoring very closely right now in this moment. We're on the verge of some massive potential breakouts across multiple sectors that have been very bearish. Those are big opportunities, right? I'm going to include this for free. No additional charge for the next year. So as long as you're active with us in this first year with the market, with the options profit generator, I'm going to give you a ticket to join us in this club for still one low price of $399. Okay. I could keep talking for hours about the market. In fact, tonight, because of a schedule conflict last night, we'll be having our Market Pro Live. So tonight at 7 o'clock rather than Monday, last night, we're having it tonight. We had a schedule move. So if you sign up today, you'll be able to join us tonight at 7 o'clock as well in another Market Pro Live Club session. So if you have any questions about the program, please ask away. To sign up, all you have to do is type in options profit generator now.com, and that'll take you to the sign up page. We only open up the enrollment several times throughout the year. The last time we had open enrollment was in January. So we haven't had any open enrollment periods since the beginning of the year. Okay, so we've only had 2. This is our week, ends on Sunday. That's not beer, folks. It may look like it. A new peach drink. I just saw the camera cut corner of my eye. I'm like, that looks like that could be beer, but it is not beer. I can attest to that. Yeah, you're welcome. Appreciate this. So I got a question. Will this be included also next year? You're talking about the Market Pro Live? Yeah, that's included. Yeah, that's included. I got a question. Can we see the March trades? Yeah, you can see the March trades. Oh, let me show you the symbols. So here's our March trades. We're up 155% this month so far. And we've got 4 active trades. So active trades are on top. So those are yet to hit the stop loss, those yet to hit the profit target. So those are live. Those are live right now as we speak. And then you have below here, this is a trade from last night. It's not triggered yet. So we have another Kinder Morgan that was sent out last night. That has not hit the trigger today. So it's still pending. Yeah, I've got a question. I've traded options for a decade. If you're giving predetermined trades to hundreds of subscribers, wouldn't the trades get saturated and diluted? No, it's like anything else. You get the surge of activity behind it. But here's the reality. Volume is counted in trades, not number of shares, right? So when we see the volume from the signals come in, and we're in swing trade, so we're not really looking for those one-day pops, right? We're not looking for those short-term, you know, when I say short-term, I'm talking about like same-day moves on a massive volume play. Even with the hundreds that we have, I think almost 400 or 500 subscribers to date in that range. Even combined, we can't move the market. We're not trading these small penny, you know, low volume stocks. All of these stocks are mid caps or higher. Some small caps, but they're small caps that have billions of dollars in market cap, right? So we're not trading those, you know, peripheral level options where there's 2-3 contracts and next you know we have 100 contracts coming in. These are all major, well traded, well liquid option contracts. So I've never seen an impact of it. But that's a good question. I love it though. Yeah, you got it. Good questions coming in. Love it. I appreciate the comments as your resource to keep. Let's see. I got a question. Can you put the URL in there? Yeah, so let me hyperlink it. Let's see. Options profitgenerator.com. Wait, no, profit generator now. Yeah, I think we got to get a shorter URL. Note to self. I'll get the team. That is pretty long. Yeah, so here's all the trades from, you know, this year. Let's see, where are we? Yep, 771 up the line. 66% on a trade by trade. Yep, you got it. We'll see you in class later. Oh yeah, there is a money back guarantee. I always forget about that. I had a question of the last 6 months. So what percentage of the trades are losses? We got 1,000% since August. 1,000 net percent since August. Yeah, so it's very simple. I got a comment. You won't need a money back guarantee. I agree. That's why I didn't even think about it. I totally forgot about it. Oh, there it is. It's very simple. You know, I think we've had, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 because of just life got in the way. But it's, I mean, it's as simple as emailing us or creating a ticket. Says, hey, appreciate it. You know, I want my money back. Okay, so that's all it is. You have 30 days though. It's not a forever guarantee. You have 30 days. You know, you're gonna find out very quickly in the first week or two if it's working for you. You can measure this based on profit. You can measure this based on me and my personality. You know, it doesn't matter. It's all we ask is that you let us know within the first month, especially with the Market Pro Live Club. That's free. You know, I'm working for you, sending out signals for you. You know, I'll give you, 30 days to see if it's going to fit your trading, fit your lifestyle, if it's going to make sense, right? But you're going to find out very quickly. But that is there. Thank you for bringing that question up because I totally forgot about it. But yeah, you have a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. No strings attached. There's no hoops to jump through. It is literally that. It's on the checkout page. You can see it again there, but we do have a guarantee. Yeah, Len, no worries. We can get you started then. Appreciate it. This is by far the best service I have subscribed to. Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's the first class. So tonight, for those that are signing up, you're going to get an invitation for the Market Pro Live Club at 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, right? Eastern Daylight Time tonight. Okay, so most of those comments on the first session, you're going to be like, "Are you serious? I get all of this for $3.99?" Yes, you get this all for $3.99. We talked about raising it up for this session, for this open enrollment period, but we decided, hey, because of inflation, because of what's going on, let's just keep it the same. We'll readdress it on the next open enrollment period. But this is only, we like to start people in segments. So that's why we have open enrollment periods, meaning they end. So this is good through Sunday. This Sunday coming up. So if you need to watch the replay, we get you the replay. Folks, $399. Anything close to this in the space, and I can guarantee we're better, but that's me being biased, you're going to pay thousands and thousands of dollars. I built those programs. Okay, I built many programs like what's being sold out there, and I don't think there's a need for those. But hey, everyone's got a different focus and a different niche, and I still work with lots of traders all over the world that I love, and they have great programs. We're nimble. We use large memberships with small prices versus small memberships, large pricing. So that's how we're able to offer this low price like this. But look, you've got to catch all. I mean, you're going to know quickly. If you're a trader and if you have a sense for return on investment, you can ask all the questions about the track record you want. We'll break it down. You have access. As soon as you sign up, you can download it yourself if you want. You can download it. Go through with a fine-tooth comb. 100% transparent. Everything's given to you at the front. Remember, you don't have to come back to this and ask me what to do. Hey, Matt, what do we do if this happens? What most questions are, I already got a couple of those questions earlier today, was, hey, we hit the profit target so fast, right? What do I do now? So I always get out. So we're going to be automatically exiting these positions. What you do with it, it's up to you. If you want to use the automatic exit, use the automatic exit. The reason we do this is full transparency. The biggest complaint that I have seen, I've dealt with in trading signal programs is simple. You say you all do this. You say you made this much profit. I don't have that profit. The reason why is the mechanics. Most signal programs will tell you some of the story. They'll say, buy this symbol, do this, but they won't give you the exit. So what happens is they're in front of their computers and they go, oh, I'm going to exit this trade. Then they have to take the time to send out and transmit whatever way they do to their client base. So that way everyone's at a different schedule. Trader A made $100, trader B lost $50, trader C lost $100, because there's no full end-to-end transparency. That's not how we do it. At the start of at the very beginning, it's clearly defined. I put it in the universe. I mean, if you think about, I got a lot of people going, oh man, 66%, I do better than that. Okay, well, I don't know why you're here then, right? Why'd you show up to this event? But ultimately, when you look at that transparency, there's no going back. Once I send it out, I can't manipulate it. I'm not going to go behind the scenes and go, oh, I got out here on this day. It's out in the universe. I called out the stock, the entry price, the profit target, the stop loss in advance. So the transparency is the key. That's why it's all done up front. Many of you go, why are you using a profit target? Let it run. Yeah, but what most people tend to do is they cut profits and they let losses run. We don't do that. We're in, we're out. Win, we lose. Most times we hit a profit target, there's a pullback. Why? Because it's a key price target, and that's why we hit it, right? So when you look at targets like yesterday, okay, let's go back. I got a question. Well, let's see if March works. All right, well, March is working. So if we come back down, you can see these dates. So let's sort this by last date. So we have days we hit targets, right? So yesterday we hit Cliff. See the CLF? Got in on the 10th. CLF is an energy stock. Or no, it's a steel. Cliff is steel. Steel's been really hot. We've been trading lots of steel here recently. So here's CLF. See the date? That was closed out yesterday, 321, 66%. Then we had CCJ. That is a uranium company, 58%. So just yesterday, our traders locked in 125% of net profits, just yesterday. Sure, we had a loss on, what was it, the 15th? Yeah, 15th we had a loss. There's no absolutes in trading. I'm not saying I'm 100%. What I'm saying is our profits when we win are a lot larger than any losses that we have. That's why we make money and a high profit at a 60% win rate. Because our breakouts are large. Our average win in March, or not in March this year, is 83% is our average profit when we win. Our average loss is 39%. So our average loss is only 39%. Our average win is 83%. So we win 6.5 out of 10 times. That's how we're able to make 700% on 20 trades. 20 trades, right? Profit, those are profit target days. Very short time in trades, right? That's 11th, 10th to the 21st, 9th to the 21st. Everything's transparent. You see winners, you see losers, right? Course of action, course of the day. That's how fun this is. Got a question. How do you trade Forex pairs? Well, this program is equities, but Forex. So let me just rewind a second. I trade options, but I actually analyze the stock first. So I find a breakout stock, then I go find the option. Most people just look around in the options world. They look in the options, playground. I start at the stock level. Always looking at the stock first. So the mechanics of analyzing a stock is the same mechanic to analyze any financial market. Especially what I love of those that are experienced, like you said you were, David. And to see a simplistic approach that's repeatable across market classes, across market caps. I mean, it doesn't matter what type of instrument. It sounds phenomenal, and I think it is. But it's very simple. And we use this 4D model. We've got two different models we run. A short-term swing trading, and then we have a longer-term model. But another good question that comes up is your average trading time, right? Time in trade. So that's another good question that pops up. So if we look at our closed positions, let me add this. Let's see what the average time in trade is. And this is all the same data. You can pull all this data too. You can download your spreadsheets if you want to dig in all the numbers. So our average time in trade has been 11 days this year. 11 days. So you're not holding these positions for months. Average hold time, 11 days through the first 21 trades of the year. Average hold time. The average investment size. These are not your big contracts. These are not your. This is developed and focused to have affordable pricing. I don't like to use the word cheap. Low cost options. The average contract price, share price, is $2.61. So on average, one contract is $261. Very affordable contracts. These are not your Apples, your Amazons, your Googles, your Teslas. The goal, and one of the big limiters to this, is the cost per share is always less than $5. And the average here this year so far has been $2.61. Okay, so for those that don't have a lot of money, or for those that want to start small and build up, you should be able to afford every single one of these option calls. Every single one at a minimum one contract. So extremely focused on access, meaning the majority of you should have enough of your portfolio where you can control at least one contract of $260. Some are higher, some are $400, some are $300, some are less at $95. Okay, depends on the symbol. What other things do you want to know? So average time 11 days. So the rollover is quick. The turnover. Your money from profit to loss, from gain to pullback, right, is fast. You're not sitting here holding for months. Okay, it's less than 2 weeks, 11 days, average time in trade. There's only been, breaking down puts, the only time we run puts is if the market's in a clear bearish trend. So if you look at the tracker, I mean, we have the majority of this stuff is all long calls. We got some long puts in here, but that's only when the market's truly in a sustained downtrend. And being able to focus in and finding different sectors and different areas of the market, like I've discussed, you know, there's always going to be something that's going up when everything's going down. You look at some of these charts here. Look at GDX, big uptrend all year. Okay, start going through these metals and mining. Look how strong, look how bullish these are, right? This is what everyone wants the market to look like. OIH, oil services. Here's steel, like I talked about earlier. Steel's been rocking and rolling. Look at that. Look at that chart for steels. Now you might be thinking, well, how do you know which one to trade? Okay, let's look at steel for a second. SLX. Well, ETFs are made up of the holdings that are inside where the assets are allocated, right? Well, I can go to SLX and look at the top holdings. So here's SLX. These are the stocks in that ETF that are the top holdings. Look at these charts. There's Rio, big uptrend. Vail, big uptrend. Nucor, big uptrend. These are all the stocks that make up SLX. Remember, stocks make the ETF, not ETFs make the stocks. So we look at the sector level to find opportunities to focus in on. Cliff, this is the profit target we hit yesterday. Okay, there's our breakout. Why were we trading Cliff? Because steel has been rocking. So we drilled down, found Cliff. Simple, right? Steel in a bullish uptrend. Okay, let's go find the stocks that are making an uptrend and let's catch a breakout. Well, there was the breakout here off the backside of that 10-day moving average. Set the entry up, sent it out to the world, caught the entry. There's our profit target that was hit yesterday. Okay, X is still live. We almost hit the profit target today. Here's X. This is United States Steel. It's also in SLX. Why are we trading it again? Right, because steel's been hot. So here is our entry date here. There's our entry on the 10th. There's our buildup. There's our profit target, 3608. We're just missed it. We'll probably have to hit it tomorrow. Okay. But there's our high mark of the day, 3591. We've got an automatic exit. I don't have to babysit this stuff, guys. It's already built right here, working order. There's my X trade. See, X, I've got working order. There's my exit. I've got my profit target. I've got my stop loss. I don't have to be here. I can go on vacation. Kids had spring break. Every single one of my trades were protected. 100% of the trades had an exit for profit, exit to manage and reduce the loss. All of them. That's freedom. That's true freedom. You don't have to babysit this stuff. 9 out of 10 times, you probably hurt yourself more than help yourself when you are babysitting your trades. Watching tick by tick, profit by profit, loss by loss, you're more than likely clicking a button before you should. If you haven't done it recently, I know you've done it. I've done it. We've all done it before. This hands-free trading, to me, has really helped free myself from the anxiety-driven world of smashing keyboards versus objectively looking at the market in a clear head, clear mind, seeing a pattern, deploying the strategy, walking away hands-free, and let the market tick. But this strategy is how we find these trades. That's how important, that's how, to ask yourself, man, how do you find all these calls? Because we're literally in the market every single day. Look at IBB, biotech, coming up on the backside, on the top side here. That's a potential breakout move, okay, coming up. But we watch these all the time. Every single day, we're all on top of this sector list, so we know where's the area of the markets to focus on. And that's just a bonus. That's not even the signals themselves, guys. But I digress. It's a simple program, simple proposition. Do you see the value in what I presented? If you do, give it a shot. You have 100% money back guarantee. The track record speaks for itself. I guarantee your first class with me in the Market Pro Live will cement the value in one class. So I've got another guarantee, okay? So if you're truly interested, like this is not for those that are just kind of, you know, up in the air about this, right? About trading. If you want to be successful, allow me to help you be successful. You make an investment into me, I make an investment back into you, which is time, energy, effort, and focus, empathy. We'll celebrate together. When things get tough, we'll be there with each other, right? I'll be there to guide you through the mental side. That's the exchange today, okay? If you don't like me, if you don't like the program, if it's not clicking, hey, if life gets in the way, right? Let me know. Hopefully it's within the first 30 days. You get all your money back. Simple proposition. But I've got to cut and run here before GoToWebinar shuts us off. I got great questions on here. Profit level extension, Fib extension. If you love Fibonacci's, I'm going to blow your mind about Fibonacci's. I will change your entire perspective, not in a bad way, in a different way. But yes, it's a form of extension. It's a form of an extension, but it's not your classic Fibonacci extension. But I teach that. In fact, let me just show you real fast before we wrap up. But there's no stone left unturned, okay? Inside of the empowerment toolbox, ten and a half hours of educational content of how to drive the strategy that I teach in the Market Pro Live Club. So how to identify trend direction, momentum, how to set up your TradingView platform to set up your filters with the checklist, setting your entry prices, defining your profit targets, defining your stop losses, demystifying option chains, master the checklist and put it together, right? So full content about how everything works, all the mechanics. We have all the archives of all the previous sessions laid out for you. You've got the checklist, you've got lessons on how to place the trades. I mean, it's truly everything that I know of to date for you to be successful with us. And if there's more stuff you want, let us know, then we'll put it out there. But this has been an iteration over lots of feedback from different traders we've had over the years. But I mean, tons of content. I mean, it's just, I just hope it makes good sense for you and you're willing to give it a shot. And I can strongly attest that and believe that you can be successful with us. You know, just give it a shot. And I feel we can help. So I do appreciate you all. I'm going to wrap this up. Yep, calendar days. That's 11 calendar days, not trading days. That's calendar days. We're looking for swings. Good swings. I love it. I paid $5,000 for a service not even half as good as this. Yeah, so profit fib extension, previous resistance, it's a combination of both. It depends on how recent that resistance is. If that resistance is far off, like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, it all depends if we use past resistance or a different forecast type of model. Yeah, appreciate it, Alan. Alan S. All right, folks. So I know GoToWebinar may shut off on us soon. All right. So if you signed up, I appreciate it. If you're not quite sure yet, you've got till Sunday. So put on your calendar, think it through. I mean, just once again, think about your trading now. How many trades do you have in your account for $399? And how many of them have generated 700% in 2.5 months? Probably none, right? I mean, that'd be a monster trade. That's like one of those unicorn trades that every trader's going after to make 770%, right? So if you're trading anywhere close to $399 or more, right? Minimum $400 a trade, you need to give me 30 days of your time, and I can promise you, you will love it. All right. That's how simple this is to think about. But with that, I will say my farewells. I will be seeing you all that sign up tonight at 7 o'clock. Remember, Sunday's the cutoff day, so just put it on your calendar. We'll get out a recording if you need to see this again. But we're on the verge of some breakouts. I mean, I'm excited about the next coming days. Some massive lows, huge bearish runs that some of these sectors have been on, especially like technology sectors that are coming up. Those are going to be some big breakouts. the finance sector, there's a lot. That's the largest sector in the market is finance. And that has been bearish, and it's now coming to a potential breakout to go bullish. So you don't want to miss out. I mean, this is going to be prime time breakout season. So with that, appreciate you all. I'll see you all tonight. If not, I do appreciate the time. Happy trading, and I'll see you all next in our next live session.